told everybody that my name was Kona because they were like, that's a white person name. What is a Kona?
Wow.
And so I called myself Kona. And some people still say that. So they were like, Kona? Ain't your name Kona? So
all right. So we share Inglewood, the 80s at least, together. So I mean, it's wild when it's pieced together. So I am interested in getting this texture, you know what I mean? Like building it out. Like what was it like, you know, especially for young girl children, because obviously, you know, that had to be different. So how was it? How was Inglewood in the 80s for you? How was that?
So I don't know if you guys knew this prior to when I met you at Inglewood, and went to Crozier, right? Crozier. Yeah. Went to Crozier Junior High School, and I was just leaving 6th grade at Castle Heights Elementary, which is located in Culver City. Well, it's like, you know, borderline Culver City. It's Cheviot Hills. Very bougie. We lived in West Covina, and I was practically a Valley girl.
Mm.
So it was a culture shock when I got to Inglewood. Because, of course, I show up on the scene, and here I come. Well, so first of all, when I was in 6th grade, they put me in, I was coming from GATE. That's Gifted and Talented Education. So nice. I was very smart and intelligent. I was pretty much a nerd, but I was trying to fit in. And in the 80s, the outfits were a little, you know, wild.
Well, describe some of those outfits. I'm trying to get the texture. What are we talking about? What was wild?
Okay, so Joey just busted me out. I can't believe he remembered that I had on those stupid lace socks the day that I got into that fight with Tori Glover. Oops, am I supposed to say last name? Okay. And the day that I got into that fight with, I don't want to put nobody on blast, but she probably still hate me. So my outfit was, okay, so this is the thing. This is the day that I remember that I met Osazi and Joey.
Okay.
So I came into the classroom and I sat down. I had on like this white skirt with this white button down with shoulder pads and some yellow pumps and yellow beads with my necklace. It wasn't like, you know, nothing fly. It was the cheapest, like Payless. And my parents had a lot of kids, yes. But I thought I was fly.
Nice.
And so my hair, but what I noticed is that I stood out like a sore thumb, like I was different. But you guys look different to me too. So
nice.
Probably won't gravitated towards y'all.
Okay. I don't know if that's a compliment. So that's interesting.
No, yeah. You guys were mean. Here it is. You guys were so mean to me because, and that might be it, that I looked all like weird and like awkward. So my hair, I couldn't get my hair together, y'all. My mother was like, that's on you. Your hair is all your responsibility. So if it was jacked up or whatever, and like if it got frizzy in the morning and I had to put some braids in it, it looked a mess. But I got bullied a lot because of how different I looked. I got bullied a lot, and I had to fight. Before I got to Crozier, I don't remember having, I had one fight in elementary, but it wasn't really a fight. You know, elementary school is not really fighting. So when I showed up at Crozier, I started to notice a different cliques of people coming from different schools. Some girls coming from Westchester, and they were fly, and the guys were picking them up in Suzukis and all kind of stuff.
Yeah,
so,
that's
but
crazy.
that wasn't my yeah, but my father would have killed me. Like, I could not have a boyfriend. I couldn't talk to boys on the phone. It wasn't even like he was a pastor or nothing. He was just a strict country man.
Yeah, that's right.
See, this is where the discrepancy was at. I don't ever remember being mean to you. That's the part.
Oh, you don't ever want to. You just, Joe, you talking about my socks.
No, I said I remember you used to wear lace socks with those little flat shoes.
Yeah, but wasn't that like Madonna-ish? That's very 80s.
Yeah,
right?
that was,
yeah.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's 80s, but okay, I'm not white. I'm an African-American young lady coming into a predominantly Hispanic, you know, kind of like, I think we were on the borderline of the Hispanics were kind of like not really being dominant. And then the African-Americans were moving in because we lived in Inglewood on Regent Circle. And that's a pretty, you know, well-to-do neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So we weren't poor, but my parents had a lot of kids. And so they were trying to, do the best that they can.
So
but
you felt shamed because of your outfits, or it's just you just wanted to change how you dressed?
I felt ridiculed by the girls at the school.
That's unfortunate.
For what I was wearing. My clothes and my hair, I never really fit in with them. And so until I had to fight. When I started fighting, then it was like, oh, we don't want those hands, huh?
Oh, so then they got nice. That's hilarious.
I'm telling you, my reputation changed immediately. I had a couple of fights at Crozier and then even at school. So, I spent a lot of time at Project Hope.
Wow.
It's weird because some of my friends that I have to this day would not believe that about me. Like, I was that person. And now it's like, some people that I grew up with, like, you guys saw it firsthand. And so I don't know what your experience was about me, but I was like always about my schoolwork. But I had a bad attitude because I got picked on so much about how badly I looked.
So describe Project Hope. What is Project Hope for those who don't know?
Oh, Project Hope is so scary. So my first visit at Project Hope was so terrifying. It was actually a church where they had a classroom for the kids that you would get suspended from school. So you weren't allowed on campus, but it's like right across the street from Inglewood High School. And when you showed up, you could bring anything with you but a pencil. And I think that's all you needed was a pencil. And I didn't have a pencil. So they made me take off one of my shoes to let me have a pencil. It was like jail.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Hey, so did they have you write out that contract the first day you went?
Oh my goodness. And if you don't finish your work, like, it just seemed like the only thing you were doing was sitting there writing the whole time. Not standard, but like, you saying that you're going to have good behavior from here on, that you learned your lesson. And it kind of scared me straight for a little while. But when you're up against the wall and somebody is to fight you, like, what are you going to do? I'm not going back to Project Home, girl. I'm going to what's up?
Okay, so let me get this straight. You're trying to say that you transfer into a new school, this school being Crozier, and you dress differently. Yeah. Let's say you was a Valley girl, and these people picked on you, and you ended up fighting them back, and then you got friends out of beating people up, or you got friends from the people that didn't want to fight you?
I think that from my reputation, it was like a kind of a rally. Well, okay, so I don't know. We were sitting in Ms. Duncan's classroom, and Tori started talking about my hair, and I ignored her. I was like, I can't, because I knew that if I got in trouble at school, my trouble wasn't going to be at school. My trouble was going to be at home. So I was really like terrified of my parents, and I was like one of those kids like, oh, no, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
But it just kept going and going, and I let it be. I was not planning to fight her. I gathered my books because look what I had on, some stupid lace socks, my little outfit. and I'm like, I'm not in fighting clothes. And so we're leaving out of the classroom. This is like sixth period, right? I think Ms. Duncan, our homeroom teacher, was sixth period. So we're all leaving, and you guys were laughing and cracking up. I don't think that you were laughing at me. You guys were laughing at the situation. But there was a few other people in the classroom that were laughing along with Tori, and she was really bagging on my hair.
Sorry to hear that. You got us at the scene of that crime. What's going on here? You trying to say that we were?
Here we go. Okay.
No, we were there. I was there.
Okay, you was there. Okay.
You were there too.
Oh, I mean, I know I had Miss Duncan. I remember Miss Duncan. That was a foxy woman. You know what I mean? I definitely remember Miss Duncan. I remember having a class. But, okay, so this is a horrible day where somebody's making jokes that the whole class is in some way participating, and then.
Yes, after I've been clowned in front of everybody, I'm mad, and my feelings are hurt, and I'm just walking, I'm leaving, but she's walking behind me. So there were our other classmates pushed her into me. And I didn't know that because remember, my back is to her, so I don't see what's going on. Like I wasn't planning to fight or something. And after they pushed her into me, she shoved me so hard. It was like a violent shove.
Yeah.
And all I remember is turning around and I beat the mess out of that girl. I feel so bad because it probably wasn't even about her. It was more about my self-esteem and the stuff that I was, holding on to. I mean, I know that now because I'm 45. But, no 14-year-old, or I think I'm going to say 12 or 13. 12, no, pre-teenager or teenager wants to be roasted by their peers,
Yes.
And so I feel like that whooping was well-deserved.
No,
she ain't going to do it today or ever again.
Mm-hmm. Some consequence. Yeah, some accountability.
But you guys were, you weren't like directly involved and you didn't say anything. I didn't feel like that. But I just remember that when we were in Mr. Bankhead's class, when we was out to Inglewood, and I wanted to join you guys. I wanted to be a tagger, and you guys wouldn't let me. I was like, BS.
Okay, let's just rewind a little bit here. So who is Mr. Bankhead? I don't even remember this guy. What did he teach? And
you better get out of here.
I'm trying to remember. I'm here.
Get Mr. Bankhead's class. Mr. Bankhead's class was in the trailers. I think he was our math teacher. He was the math teacher or history. I don't remember what kind of teacher he was, but I remember Mr. Bankhead. He was a very mean. He reminds me of, he wasn't as tall as the guy on there, but he reminds me of the guy on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, the father.
Okay, yeah, I kind of remember this
great description.
Yeah, I kind of remember him.
Right.
Yeah, the bungalows by
right.
by the basketball courts. I kind of remember. Okay, so you wanted to roll with the notorious tagging crew with these creative geniuses that's on the phone with you. And what happened next?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
The wonderful men.
You want to know? Oh my goodness! So I just thought that you guys were just we have you and Joey and was his name Robert?
Yeah, Robert. Yeah.
Okay, do you guys have contact with him? Is he okay? Like I was just telling Jeffrey, I couldn't remember his name.
Yeah, no, I haven't talked to him in too long, and I don't know if he's okay. So yeah, thank you for thinking about him, Don.
So he can vouch for me because Robert was really quiet, but I know he heard everything.
And tell me what you remember.
Mr.
You remember. Oh, I'm sorry. You go ahead. You got it.
No, so Robert was very quiet. No, he never said much. He was just really quiet. But you guys used to be so fresh, though. Like, your bands used to be fresh, and the clothes, y'all had your clothes ironed in the backpack, and you guys didn't ditch. And, like, you guys were, like the guys at the school, at Inglewood High School, it was predominantly gang members. And if you weren't part of that clique, it was like you were a nobody. You were on the outside. And I was always, I think I was, probably tagged as Jamal's little sister. That was my whole, persona, because that's all everybody knew me as. I was Jamal's little sister. Like, I wasn't supposed to talk to guys and, none of the older guys or any of that. And they probably thought I was crazy because I was fighting all the time.
Oh, so your fighting career didn't stop at Crozier. You took that to Inglewood.
Oh, no. I had I had 2 fights at Crozier, and then I had a couple of more in Inglewood High School. And while I was at Crozier, I got jumped into a gang. I can't name all the people that were present because I don't know if they want their names to be out there. But we started a gang in 7th grade.
What was the name of that gang?
At Crozier.
What was the name of that gang?
We were the Hustlerettes. That was our
The Hustlerettes.
So you guys was associated with the Big Time Hustlers, right? BTA.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, we were. And so we were the female group of that. I know this is a lot of information. I can't put names out there. That's what I'm saying. No incriminating. You can't make the call.
So is that a blood gang?
These girls, no, we were, I don't think we were Bloods or Crips. I believe they were.
No, it was before.
Green.
It was before, yeah.
Before they turned to,
yeah. It was before they had to make
our colors were green.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. Absolutely.
The Hustler. It
was crazy though.
So what do you do as a gang member in 7th grade? What does that entail?
So what you're doing is forming an alliance because this one girl, when I was in the 8th grade, so this is kind of deep, y'all. Do y'all remember Bernard and Raynard?
Yeah, the twins.
Right. No, they weren't. They were brothers.
But yeah, but we used to call them the twins.
Tuki. Okay. Yeah. So they look like
Yeah,
so they were
yeah
more adamant about being in a gang. They were actually gangsters. You know, we were just like, our gang didn't continue on. But one of his girlfriends, Joanna, she was a Hispanic gang member. She was Cholita. And she used to wear her hair all sprayed up with the Aquanet and all the eyeliner and stuff. And so she found out that one of them, I think Reynard was but he was younger than us. So she found out Reynard called himself liking me or something. I didn't even know though. And she met me in the locker and approached me. I beat her up so bad at Crozier.
Wow.
That day I left with so much eyeliner under my nails. It was ridiculous. Yes. But my alliance that I was forming, you know, being jumped into a gang was that I thought that maybe she was going to come back and retaliate because they actually checked her out of the school after that. It was a big problem for us. Yes.
So where does your talent come from? Is it instinctual or you had some training? What's going on with this?
Which talent?
The fighting part.
Growing up in
the fighting
tell
part.
not talent.
Hey, tell him how many brothers you have.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Okay.
It was not a talent. It's just growing up in a household with all those brothers. You know, the bullying starts in the home. And I was not, they had a surprise coming for them. Like, no, you're not about to beat me up. Like, I'm going down with a fight.
So how many siblings are we talking about? Like, I know the one brother we went to school with, but who else are you talking about?
There is 10 of us.
Oh,
There's 10 of us, and
wow.
6 of us grew up in the same household. Yes, sir.
That's amazing.
That's why Joe would be like, y'all had a lot of kids. Yeah. So there were 6 of us in one household.
Okay, I didn't know that.
And then, you know, plus my parents. Yeah. And so, yeah, it was fighting over the TV. My brother used to slap the rollers out of my head and all kind of stuff.
Yeah. So you brought those talents to Crozier and terrorize people.
So I feel like I just needed to defend myself.
Oh, defend yourself. Oh, that's the code word. Okay, that's the code word. Defend yourself. I'm sorry.
Defend. There you go.
Okay.
Because they have to approach you first. You know, the parents, they tell you, if somebody hits you, you can hit them back, but you don't hit first, you know.
Mm-hmm. So what else besides beating everybody up do you remember about Crozier? What was Crozier like? So
Crozier was, okay, it was a little weird. I remember PE class. That was shocking for me because, you know, when you go in the locker room, the girls' locker room is just weird. It's just everything is a culture shock. When you're a teenage girl, you walk in there and you don't want nobody to look at your body and stuff, and you just it's just too much. Being in junior high school was just a lot. You have to switch classes. And then, you know, I had Miss Schlosser as an English teacher. We had Mr. Stevenson. We had, I
remember him.
Everybody, the teachers, the choir teacher was probably the most popular teacher.
Yeah, Miss Garrett.
Miss Garrett.
Yes.
Miss Garrett.
Yes.
And that's where I met Joey at.
Yeah,
I met Joey in Miss
Really?
Garrett. Yes.
Yeah, in her classroom.
Yeah.
So there I was not welcome.
Yeah, and Joey wasn't nice to me, so I experienced the same thing you experienced.
Wait a minute. You don't knock it off. You wasn't nice to me.
So it's the same thing. Joey is that's what I'm learning. I said, okay, I wonder how she experienced the same thing I did. And I said, oh, Joey's on the phone. This is this is all.
We can go back to previous podcasts, and he's admitted his shortcomings back then. Exactly.
Oh, I see. I mean, but that's...
Hold on, Joey, but you've been solid, though, Joey.
There you go.
Heaven was going to change you, but she hasn't done that. Like, come on, Heaven, step up now.
No, Heaven's good. My daughter makes me a better man. I'm all right.
Are you sure?
Yeah, ask around.
Better, yes, but are you nice? No.
Sure.
So you mentioned... You mentioned fashion. What was popular that you didn't have? I know you came to Valley Girl swag, but what was popular in the black schools at the time? Do you remember?
Okay, yes, because in the 7th grade I came with my Valley Girl swag, but then when I came back to the 8th grade, I was ready for them. I went to the Inglewood swap meet and I got me some feelers. And I got some Levi cords and my sweater and my silk shirts. And we had bomber jackets. But I could not afford the Guess jeans. I got some Just jeans.
Oh, I remember the Just. Yes, that's too funny.
And I got roasted for that, too. and when. I was like, my parents was like, oh, we're not buying them jeans. No, boo, those look just like those. Look at the sign and everything. I was like, no, this one says Judge. And they're on me.
See, if you would have been nicer to us, we would have told you about the Cooper building where you get the
Oh, yes. I remember the Cooper building
y'all can just tell me that, though. Y'all knew Corey was backing on me. That's a mess. Now you want to tell me. And and my hair, I had a feather. I got my hair cut off fly, and I had a bob, and thought I was so bomb, right?
That's right.
I mean, let me see for a minute. You didn't wear your hair pressed. You wore natural in styles, right? Like you didn't press your hair yet.
In the 7th, I did.
Yes,
and then in the 8th grade, I started getting my hair pressed. Yes, I started getting it pressed. Some old natural styles. Yeah, my hair was nappy, and it looked a mess.
No, your hair was never nappy. It wasn't straightened like everybody else's hair, so nobody experienced or knew what that was.
Mm.
Well, my parents were like, they didn't allow it. That's how strict they were. You cannot get your hair pressed.
And it's funny because probably now you thank them for it because you still have your same curl pattern and all that stuff.
My edges.
Burning it out,
our
parents did know best.
I remember those girls we used to call Carl Hops, and I remember them like them what I guess would be dope dealers in hindsight, picking them up in cars, and they had big Turkish.
The Suzuki.
Yeah, they had Turkish links, and it was like it was.
I'm screaming.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was a real difference. It's like these people seemed rich.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, the trunk jewelry and the big earrings and. They was like, we thought they were really doing it in the nugget. What are the nugget bracelets and
the rings? Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, I remember.
And if you look at that stuff now, it's so whack.
Yeah, and gaudy. Yeah, but I remember it was a crew of them. They like came from the other side of Inglewood, that across Crenshaw side.
Westchester.
Yeah. Oh, that Westchester.
Yeah, they were
okay.
And they were from the Avenue.
Oh, that was the word. Avenues. Yeah.
Oh yeah, wealthier area. What we lived in.
Yeah, but they had the bobs. I remember the bob haircut, the mushroom.
The bob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, and it was like every day I listened to, I was one of those LL Cool J, I Need Love. And, we were like fascinated in like, hip hop and Salt and Pepper. Like it was for real. Like that was our whole situation. That was my life. Every day I got home and all day we had to have our music, with our Walkman. If you got a Walkman for Christmas, you were off the chain.
Oh, yeah.
What was some of the dances in that era? Do y'all remember?
Oh, and so yes, so we used to have dances at Crozier Junior High School, and remember we used to do the WAP and the RoboCop.
The Guess. It was actually,
remember that?
That's crazy.
It used to be, I was killing them. The dances in the gym at Crozier were off the chain, though. Yeah. Like
we had the dances at Rogers Park too, so that was the big deal. When we started going to Rogers for the dances for like Friday nights.
Hey, them lights was low. Remember how dark it used to be in them rooms? I was like, wow, this is really setting the mood.
Yes. That's what I'm talking about. Man. So what about at Rogers Park though? I don't think we were invited to come to the dances until we were in 9th grade. Like I wasn't allowed to go until I was in 9th grade to the Rogers Park.
8th grade, yeah. 8th grade was Rogers Park, and then we got to Inglewood. It was Sit in the Wind in the cafeteria.
Yeah, I remember the
yeah. And we had the homies coming at the Proud Bird and all that stuff or whatever.
That's right. Yeah. The Proud Bird. And so we had those, everybody had their suede skirt on with a silk shirt, and we shopped at the swap meet, and it was a big deal. Like
the swap meet was okay.
Belt.
It was a trip. Like it was okay to shop at the swap meet. That was like the reversible Gucci and Louis Vuitton belts. All them knockoffs was just like it was all right. Nobody like clowned each other.
It was amazing.
All that was fake, but it was all right. Like
no, because we didn't have access to the new stuff. It's like or authentic. It was out of our price range as well as our reach. You know what I'm saying? We didn't get heavy on the bus until 8th, 9th grade. Mm-hmm. But then belts was so fly because you cut the piece of the belt off you didn't use and make you a keychain.
Yeah, I remember.
You know what? I'm gonna whoop you. That's worse than drinking a Dorito bag, Joey.
Yeah, there you go.
We used to shrink the Dorito bags and put them on a keychain. Like the stuff that we did, we were so different from these kids. You know, we were different, like, man.
And we were outside. We were outside too. You would walk to a friend's house and then y'all would walk to do something. It was like an outdoors adventure daily.
When did you become friends with Ava? Because I remember you hanging out on my street. Me and Ava lived on the same street. Was that 8th or 9th grade?
Me and Ava been friends since 7th grade, and she was one of the people that jumped me in the gang. Yeah, look. Listen, it was some bigger girl, like Tanisha Rucker, remember those girls? They were huge. And I was like, Morgana Matthews, Wendy. Oh, I was like, I got to go down this line, and they going to stop me? I was like, no. But I'm talking about, I couldn't even get on the rough, tough, and dirty because my parents were so strict.
Wow.
So I would have to meet Patrice. My best friend was Patrice Parsons. And I would have to meet at Patrice's house and get on the bus.
You got to tell them what the rough, tough, and dirty is for those that don't know.
So the rough, tough, and dirty is the RTD. And that used to be that was the name of our bus systems before it was Metro.
Yep.
And we named it the rough, tough, and dirty because it was so
it
hood.
Was
hood. Man, if you rode the bus, it was like, you better be prepared. It's not anything like,
how much was the bus back then? How much was it back then?
Probably about 50 to 75 cents. Mm-hmm. It wasn't much because we used to go all the way down to the Hawthorne Mall, go to the movies and kick it, and that was our big thing. But before we got on the bus, the one time I remember all three of us riding the RTD was, okay, so one week I finally got y'all to help me learn how to tag. And we was trying to figure out my name. Y'all was laughing at me like, what's going to be your name? Like, girl, get out of here. Go sit down somewhere. This is grown folks' business. That's how y'all treated me.
That's funny because I do not remember this. But you actually remember us going on a bus mission together. This is news to me.
I think we went to Hawthorne Mall.
Yes, we went to the Hawthorne Mall.
Yeah. Wow.
So I don't remember if it was, I think Joey is the one that named me because I was like, so what's your tag name? And he was like, Zuma. Mm-hmm. I was like, that's fresh. Nice. And then I'm like, so what's your tag? He was like, Redder. I'm like, so what name am I going?
And then somebody decided on Stormy. Is that because you was beating everybody up? Is that what happened, Joey? You just named her Stormy?
I think so, yes. I think that was Joey.
That is funny. So he said,
I was like, Stormy is kind of whack, though. He was like, yeah, but sometimes you could just tag Storm instead of Stormy. I was like, yes!
That is nice, yeah.
And so then we started practicing, and y'all was like, all right, you want to be a part of our clique? You got to tag on the bus then. And I was like,
really?
I'm going to go to jail!
Yeah, that sounds like bad advice. What's going on?
No, y'all was laughing because I don't think you guys really thought I was going to do it.
Okay.
What? So what I did is I got these little stickers and I tagged on the stickers and I would just stick them everywhere. That's what I was doing. I said I did it and y'all was like, nah, that ain't the same thing. This is not what we want you to do.
Hey, low key, she might invent a slap tag.
Yeah, that is hilarious.
Oh my goodness, dying. I'm saying people probably would not even ever believe that they was like, you used to be a tagger. And I'm like, I remember all of that stuff. Like, don't remind me. I did some horrible stuff in school because I feel like you are more influenced by your friends in that age group. Mm-hmm. So 7th to 9th grade, you trying to figure out who you are and it's all about acceptance and you just get dropped into Inglewood from the valley. It's like, what is going on here? Like,
so who
cares about the Lakers? I don't.
So how did Inglewood look like? I mean, and feel to you? Like, try and paint that picture for us. Like, what was the actual city like at that time?
At that time, it was the Forum. It was all about the Lakers. And, them winning and us dancing on the cemetery walls, like the whole city would come out after they won those championships. Wow. And that Sizzler is still there on the corner. Mm-hmm. Like I lived right there on Regent Circle. That's right by the cemetery. So Inglewood was, I felt like it was a bougie black community, well-to-do families, and then you have your suburbs and then you have the little area where they the police officers and, that kind of, it was just weird going to school right across the street from City Hall.
Yeah, that
where
is
the
crazy.
library is.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then, but so much happened on our campus for the police to be right across the street.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're conveniently located 30 seconds away.
And all we had was the Inglewood security, and they didn't care. All you had to do was bring them some Brunos, and they didn't care.
Bruno. Yeah.
And everything was very clicked up. So in ninth grade, when I got over to Inglewood, you see they have the section where the football players and the cheerleaders sit. Mm-hmm. They have the section where Treva and them and the guy and Shay Shay and them would sit, and you got. Well, Fran still works at Inglewood Unified School District, and I saw her. Gosh,
yeah, I
haven't seen them in years. Fran and Treva, and everybody is almost like still the same. Like some people. There's some people that kind of fell off, but a lot of us that came from Inglewood are still on that same streak of our parents trying to make us have a better, not make us, but hoping that we would have a better life.
Mm-hmm.
So I see a difference from people thriving in life from where they are, from that came from Inglewood, than the people that I've known from other cities that are not doing as well. So I feel like they have more resources. They have the band. I was a cheerleader.
Wow.
I was a cheerleader in ninth grade. I know. I was the captain of the JV cheerleading squad.
Wow.
And yeah, that was awkward because my father was like, "You're not gonna be no cheerleader. That's just being a hoe." That's what he called it. He was like, he didn't accept it. And my skirt was too short for him. I couldn't wear this. I couldn't wear that. So I would have to leave out of the house with something else on. And then when I got to the game, I could change into my uniform.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And I was shocked that. Yeah, shut up.
No, I'm saying I've heard several people say that. Yeah,
say that they had. Yeah, but my brother was a basketball superstar at Inglewood High School,
mm-hmm.
and so my parents they kind of went to his games and stuff, and really were like more into what he was doing, which I understood that. I didn't have a problem with that. I was just like, good, so they could leave me alone.
And you said your folks
time,
weren't religious? I mean, what is just...
They were not religious.
They were not religious at all. They knew what it took to raise X amount of children, obviously. Is that why they were strict,
Absolutely.
Or you never figured that out?
I think that my dad was always strict because, I think it was more like his controlling. That's the only control that he had. He didn't want to relinquish that control. Like when you're a black man that grew up through all those the traumatic times that we had as black people.
Yes.
The segregation and all the stuff. He came from Louisiana. So just in trying to understand what you don't question it. I wasn't going to ask him like, why? You can't do this. Oh, okay. Next, move on. And that there were so many of us. So I think that's what it was. It was just him trying. He didn't want to relinquish that control because a lot of things, that were good for me, he would try to turn it away. Like he didn't want me to be in Gate. He had originally told him no until my stepmother told him, like, do you understand like what this is? He didn't. And once she explained it to him, then he finally let me move into the Gate classes.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, it was very shocking when I got over to Inglewood, and I was disappointed that my clothing were not fitting in. My language, my body language, the way I was acting, like, oh my God, okay. I was like, okay.
Hey, so
and they were like, who is this black girl? And she's acting like a white person.
So what type of music were you listening to at that time, or how did that evolve between those few years once you got here? I mean, obviously.
Oh, I totally.
Madonna was on the list.
I totally listened to Madonna. Yeah,
I
did.
Of course,
I got in the talent show and I did Borderline onto Madonna and my talent show. That's how white I was.
Yeah, that's dope.
It's not fair to say, not white, but that's how Valley Girl-esque I was.
Yeah, of course.
I listened to Debbie Gibson and, Pat Benatar.
Yeah. That's dope.
All the stuff
but we used to listen.
MTV.
Yeah, we used to listen to that. It was like our music somehow wasn't segregated. Like we would get a little bit of everything.
MTV.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, MTV. Yeah.
And that's probably why it was, MTV. And so, because my brothers are going to have the rap music covered. I mean, they were just really deep into rap music. So you stayed
with your pop seriously. Music throughout like these few years that we're talking about. Even when you got the Crozier, you kept with you ended up changing your musical taste.
Right now to this day, I still listen to everything. I listen to everything, country music, whatever I can get my hands on. I love salsa music. I love all kind of music, and I'm mostly Afrobeats. That's what I listen to mostly, Afrobeats, because right now you have to be careful of what you let into your mind.
I agree.
And so I want it to be positive, soothing, not negative or putting anybody down or that kind of thing. And so you just have to, be very careful, because it's easy to just like, that post that you were saying, stop yelling at your kids before they go to school. It's like, it's certain things I won't listen to before I got to go and take a test. If I'm on my way to church, if I'm on my way to, you know what I mean? And so you just got to be, I've been aware, but my music taste changed from the 7th grade. I wasn't listening to all the music that I was listening to because I was trying to be like my friend. I wanted to fit in. And so I didn't like everything that they were listening to, and some of the stuff I was not even allowed to play at home. So, I'm thinking when I'm at school, I'm getting away with it, So I think that's what it was. I had a split personality. I was somebody at home and somebody at school, somebody else at school. It had to be that way because I was not about to get beat up again, and my reputation was at stake.
Wow. So you never took a loss?
I don't know if you guys...
You never took a loss in this fighting situation, obviously. It was a win across the board.
I've never been beat up.
Wow.
I've never been beat up. Let me knock on some wood.
No, give thanks. Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking historically anyway. I hope you never get into a fight again, you know what I mean? But yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. No, I've been sucker punched in my adult life, and that was the last time that I was like, when I got home to my children, I was out with some friends, and they got into a situation, and when you're with people, that's how that happened. And that's when I was like, okay, I got to shake them. You got to, you don't know who you hanging out with sometimes, unless it's people that you've been knowing for a very long time. And I think that's why I feel like all of my friends that I had in the 7th grade, I still have those friends. Those are still my friends. Patrice is still my friend.
Do y'all still identify as
absolutely
the Hustlerettes, or what was the gang name?
No, shut up. No, we don't.
Okay, you said gangland.
I'm like, no, I'm not affiliated anymore.
Oh, okay, well, we still all hang out and drink 40s. Okay. Okay. Just like Joey, I never gangbanged. It's the same story.
I never did.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, that's why I got to ask several times.
But you were affiliated, just like the husband. He's affiliated. And so,
I say yes to that 100%. Affiliated, yes. This dude swears I got some mystery set that I'm from, and he can't name it. He can't name it. So.
I'm the reason I'm doing this is because I can't name a lot of stuff. That way, if it's recorded, then I can play it back and I can help my memory along. So
what's so funny is the only crew that I ever was from, one that he started, and the next one he introduced me to.
And that is too funny, and he want to act like he wasn't in a gang.
What crews were those? Let's hear this.
The crew that the first crew that you had that I was introduced to, I couldn't fit in because you guys already had the initials of everybody's names that hang out together. Because I came in later.
Oh, the Arcade Boys.
Arcade Boys, yeah. And then I came later.
Yeah, that's pretty fresh.
Right? I came later, and then after that, it was ACT, Always Causing Threats.
Wow.
Oh, y'all are so whack.
And then, after that, you introduced me to Boss.
Oh, yeah, Boss, I remember.
Wow.
I remember Boss. That is too funny.
I don't remember a formal introduction to Boss.
You had a head start. I can tell you. You went to summer school.
Here he go with his memory.
Look, you went to summer school, Inglewood, from 8th grade to 9th grade, right?
Yes.
That's
summer school?
Met,
summer school? No, never.
Summer school.
Yep, we went to summer school. Yeah, we went to summer school. I went to summer school from 8th grade to 9th grade at Inglewood High School. I sure did.
Okay, so that's her. I've never been to summer school, so that wasn't me.
But when did you meet who you met? Dre and who else? Dre and
Slink.
Or Dre
and Slink. Yeah, I had a class with them. Yeah.
In the ninth grade.
Slink was hilarious.
Yeah, he's super funny. Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's when.
So how does that then? Yeah, I know that part. I know how the boss industries turn into a joke and then into a crew. I got that. But when did I say, "Come over here, Joey, and let me introduce you to gangbang"?
No, you
don't let him do it like that.
It's okay. He introduced me. He introduced me to Dre, and then Zink was a Tiger. He was from Boston. Yeah. And you introduced me to them like this is. Who
no way. That's why you started stuttering, because that didn't happen. Like, that did not happen.
You know what?
Sorry. How did I meet him?
Go ahead. She was about to say something.
Here we go with your memory.
Yeah.
This is a mess. Don't.
How did I meet them then? Who started ACP?
I'm at a loss. I'm sorry.
Oh my God. Okay, hold on. Let's go back before that. What did QRRK stand for?
That was our names, our initials. Quan, Richard,
Quantrell,
Rob, Kevin.
And Kevin.
Yes.
So.
And Robert.
Okay, there you go. You can't deny that one, right?
There's nothing to deny, yeah.
No, okay.
Selective memory is hilarious. Quit it.
I'm here learning.
So when we first started getting serious, or promoted in tagging, we started hanging out with RJ and them. It was RJ, Dice, Sean, and they had Ice Cold Artists. And then that's when ACT came about, Always Causing Threats.
Okay, and do you remember me coming to you and saying, Joey, let me introduce you to anything?
Why you gotta be like that? I'm trying to like that. It never happens like that.
Okay, so how does it happen?
Hold on. Let me go back to Crozier for QRRK.
Okay.
We met in Miss Garrett's class.
You were mean to me in Miss Garrett's class.
No, I wasn't. No.
He's going to insist upon that.
Hold on. I'm going to tell the whole story now.
Okay.
We're going to get the whole story out.
All right.
I used to bring my wrestlers to school in the backpack. I had the wrestling figures.
You know what?
And you wanted to see them. You're like, oh, let me see the wrestlers.
Uh-huh.
And I told you no.
Thank you. Is that not mean? Thank you.
That's not mean.
Are we moving forward now?
No, that is Joey. That's typical Joey. Are you kidding me?
I just said no. And that was it.
Is that
That's
nice?
What you always say. Your answer is always no.
Is that nice?
Hell no.
And then it evolved to me sitting at the lunch table with you guys.
Okay.
Or why? He'd be like, why?
QRRK. No. That's what it was. That was the whole thing.
Okay, so let's rewind right there, because if you were mean to me, how then do I introduce you to my friends?
I wasn't mean to you. I just told you no. I think it was a situation. I honestly think it was a situation like maybe you hadn't been told no before, or you thought I was going to say yeah.
Oh wow, okay, yeah. Because I asked nicely. You know why if you had 10 dolls stuffed in your bag instead of books, and I say, let me see one of your dolls.
And I said no.
It's not a dog.
Yeah, it's a dog.
A dog.
Don't let him get away with saying wrestler. It's a dog. He had a bag full of dolls.
Hey, listen. If it's a
Joey, don't let him do
it don't matter.
Why this man got a bag full of dolls at school? That's what we got to get back to. That's what this is all about, is trying to figure out why you had a bag of dolls.
No. And then we can go deeper than that, because